Welcome back. You're watching NewsX. I'm Megha Sharma and this is the NewsX Vikas Report episode number 8. Yes, we are talking about the railway revolution with the Vande Bharat Express. Mind you, the benchmark for the Indian railways for the last 30 years had been the Shatabdi Express. The idea behind having the super fast Shatabdis was to complete your train journey in a single day, as opposed to the 2 or sometimes 3 days that it took for travelling from one part of the country to another. They were launched back in 1988. Cut to 2022, Indian Railways is witnessing a bigger, better and a grander transformation through Vande Bharat Express, the semi-high speed electric train that runs at the speed of 160 kilometers per hour and has the state-of-the-art facilities, automatic doors, alarm systems, recliner seats, LED lights, hand dryers in the washrooms, akin to an aircraft. And now you can reach your destination in half the time that it took you to travel via the Shatabdis. In the last 3 months itself, the Prime Minister has launched 5 Vande Bharat trains for faster, more comfortable and more convenient commute. Let's take a look at the latest Vande Bharat Express launch that took place from Howrah railway station in Kolkata.
A new age train for PM Modi's Naya Bharat, that's the Vande Bharat Express for you. Already connecting New Delhi to Varanasi and Vaishno Devi Katra, Gandhinagar to Mumbai. A sparkling new Vande Bharat Express was inaugurated by PM Modi in West Bengal recently. We hopped onto the train to give you all a better view of this latest jewel of the Indian Railways.
नए साल के तोहफे के रूप में पश्चिम बंगाल की जनता को प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी का सेमी बुलेट ट्रेन का सौगात। जी हां, हम बात कर रहे हैं वंदे भारत एक्सप्रेस ट्रेन की, जो हावड़ा रेलवे स्टेशन से न्यू जलपाईगुड़ी रेलवे स्टेशन तक सफ़र करेगी और ये सप्ताह में 6 दिन ट्रेन चलेगी। प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी वर्चुअल इसका उद्घाटन कर रहे हैं और रेलवे के इतिहास में ऐसा पहली बार है कि करीब 3 महीने लगातार 5 वंदे भारत ट्रेन पटरियों पर अलग अलग राज्यों में दौड़ रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री उन तमाम राज्यों को सौगात के रूप में दिया है।
Offering a myriad of superior amenities, providing the train got a thumbs up from all the passengers.
कितने दिनों से इंतजार कर रही थी?
बहुत दिनों से।
अच्छा लग रहा है बैठने में?
हाँ।
क्या कहना चाहेंगी इस ट्रेन?
मैं इस ट्रेन के लिए बहुत एक्साइटेड थी। बहुत दिनों से मैं इसका इंतज़ार कर रही थी।
ये ट्रेन में तो सब कुछ अच्छा है, सीट तक, ये लाइट सब कुछ अच्छा है। क्या मैं बोलूँ, सब कुछ अच्छा है।
ऐसे इसका जो डिज़ाइन है, पूरा ये खिड़की जो है पूरा खुला हुआ है, सीट भी थोड़ा अच्छा है, बैठने में भी अच्छा लग रहा है।
From an advanced state-of-the-art suspension system to recline chairs and 32-inch screen, the train is a unique experience.
यहाँ पर जो भी व्यवस्थाएं हैं वो वर्ल्ड क्लास की है और 16 कोच के ये एक ट्रेन सेट है, जिसमें 2 एग्जीक्यूटिव कार हैं और बाकी चेयर कार हैं। आप देखिए यहाँ पर सबसे पहले अगर हम बात करें तो ये आप देखिए एंट्री गेट जो लॉक है, क्योंकि एरोप्लेन के तर्ज पे इसे बनाया गया है और पूरी तरह से एरोडायनेमिक है। ये गेट अपने आप लॉक हो जाता है, ऑटोमेटिक है, अलार्मिंग सिस्टम है। अगर आपको कॉल करके बताना हो तो आप सीधे पायलट को बता सकते हैं। इसके अलावा आप देखिए सुरक्षा की भी व्यवस्था की गई है। कोई उस तरह के आदमी इसके अंदर नहीं एंटर कर सकता है जिसके पास टिकट ना हो या कोई असामाजिक तत्व किसी तरह के घटना को अंजाम देता हो। तो 2 एंट्री पॉइंट पे सीसीटीवी कैमरे लगाए गए हैं। साथ ही साथ आप देखिए लाइटिंग की जो व्यवस्था की गई है, एलईडी लाइट जो हाई स्टैंडर्ड क्वालिटी का होता है। और उसके बाद जैसे आप आएंगे तो यहाँ पर आप देखिए जो टॉयलेट है और जो वेस्टर्न कल्चर दोनों इसमें है। और अंदर भी आप देखेंगे तो वो चेन वाला जो सिस्टम था, वो डिब्बा था, वो ख़त्म हो चुका है। और साथ ही साथ अगर आप देखेंगे हैंड वॉश के लिए लगा हुआ है, हैंड ड्रायर भी लगा हुआ है। तो सारी व्यवस्था एक जिस तरह से फ़्लाइट में होता है वो है। जो टॉयलेट हैं वो वैक्यूम टॉयलेट हैं।
With these unique features, the Vande Bharat is clearly redefining passengers traveling in India. Bureau Report, NewsX.
So Rishabh, that was a virtual tour of a first class experience of a Vande Bharat. I couldn't make out the difference between, you know, from the visuals that I saw, because I myself have not gotten the opportunity to travel in the Vande Bharat Super Express train. Bullet train is what we call it. It's a world-class experience, like you said, you know, state-of-the-art suspension, you have CCTV cameras, you have automatic doors, you have recliner chairs. It looks as fancy can get. Exactly like your travel in an aircraft.
You know the standards. What were they? What were we used to in rail cars? Okay, the premier rail cars, Rajdhani, Shatabdi. You know, where our parent generation, grandparent generation, for them, you know, you traveled by the Rajdhani or the Shatabdi, and you know you were getting the best rail experience.
Yeah.
And honestly, no offense to anyone, we have a very complicated and large rail network, but these are not state of the art anymore, period. Okay, I remember, you know, when the metro construction in Delhi was going on, and now metro construction is happening in all sorts of places, Nagpur, Meerut, RRTS, this and that, and people thought that, you know, oh, it was almost self-inflicted racism, that, you know, we Indians can't value good stuff. If you make a nice fancy train with air-conditioned stations, you know, people will be, you know, it'll be smelling of urine. Yes. People will be thukuing pan everywhere. 20 years of Delhi metro didn't happen. Because if you deliver something clean and nice, the people take pride in keeping it clean and nice. Not 100%, 100%. You've seen a lot of lumpen elements who've been throwing stones at the Vande Bharat trains and damaging the cars. But look at this experience. You know, I've traveled all over Europe in trains that look like aircraft. You have seating on both sides, you have a table in between, you can charge your phone. Some places you can even have Wi-Fi. They travel at a good speed. You know, we were discussing during the course of the day, Megha, that, you know, you were surprised Delhi Chandigarh 2.5 hours.
Absolutely.
In this Vande Bharat Express in comfort, with automated doors. So if we can do this, if we can clean the stations, you know, station cleaning is a very big exercise. I just want to make a small interjection before I know Vineet Goenka, I know, has been doing this. He's just not BJP spokesperson. He works on social media, on digital media, but I know somewhere his heart is still in with the railways. So I just wanted to put out a statistic. This is an example of the cross rail, which is now called the Elizabeth line. One single metro line that was built in London, which they started in 2007, inaugurated in 2022. So in London, it took them 15 years at a cost of 14.8 billion pounds. That is roughly 200 million pounds they were spending for every kilometer of the rail line. 200 million pounds for every kilometer in London. Okay, so delayed project, massive cost overruns, and then you're seeing us doing it. It's a remarkable. I haven't been on board the Vande Bharat. Can't wait now to get on board.
Yeah, take a look at that. In fact, I've asked my PCR team to put out those visuals of that world-class Vande Bharat launch that took place from the Howrah railway station. That was done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi just days ago. Vineet, I'm going to come to you. Like I mentioned, you know, my hometown is in Chandigarh. I make those trips often, sometimes by train on Shatabdi. Takes me about 5.5 hours. Sometimes by road, it's the same amount of time that I have to spend. But getting to know that it's going to just take you half the time, 2 to 2.5 hours, and it's going to be a high-speed experience. And there were times that people would actually have to take an aircraft from Delhi to Chandigarh, and they would rather opt the option of a Vande Bharat.
Ram Ram to you, Rishabh, everybody on the show and all the audience who are watching. Rishabh, you're right. I'm also the governing council member for CRIS, the Ministry of Railways. So naturally, it gives me an opportunity to have some small insight inside the railway and also to contribute on behalf of everybody. what we feel and what we do. And I'm really proud of one particular part. With this 7,325 stations, we run almost around 68,103 kilometers of railway stretch, which is their entire country, this crossing. And almost around 800 plus crore passengers have been taken across from point A to point B. In this, we were having a train average speed, which was very, very challenging, and the speed was never crossing 50 kilometers. So average speed of a train, be it the Rajdhani, so when you accumulate with the acceleration, deceleration, stops and everything, it comes to almost around 50 kilometers, which is now with this Vande Bharat Express, which is a semi-high speed train, it would come to somewhere around average 95 kilometers per hour. And the permitted levels are 130 kilometers. Now, why the permitted levels are 130 kilometers? Because the tracks in some places are not good enough to take a speed of beyond 130 kilometers. Then there are intersections, there are curves, there are challenges like tunnel or many other mechanical challenges which have to be faced by this particular train. Otherwise, the train can go up to a speed of 160 kilometers. Now, this is one particular part. If you permit me one more minute, I can just tell the audience who are watching what was the challenge and how it all went. See, when the Prime Minister Modi, after coming in place in 2014, wanted to have a faster, speedy, safer and comfortable travel journey. We wanted this train to come in, this kind of trains. There was a tender which was floated in 2015 or so. There were no bidders who came up, or the bidders who came up were not as per the standard. And this was taken as to be a challenge under Make in India. And I'm very proud that Integral Coach Factory Chennai, which is there, has developed this indigenously. The design has been done indigenously. The development and the assembling of the parts have been done there. And this has been a wonderful experience. The first train which was launched somewhere in February 2019, which was from New Delhi to Varanasi, and now the train which has been launched, which is connecting the Northwest Bengal, that is Jalpaiguri to Howrah, which will change not only the way train travel has been done, but also it will help develop the economy there in that particular part which was neglected in West Bengal.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Absolutely
very proud
right.
of this Make in India effort which has been done.
Absolutely right. Gautam Mukherjee, it's at one point of time, if somebody were to say, I'm going to travel by train instead of by an aircraft, it was sort of, you were looking down upon that person. I'm like, and now it's transformational because if you're traveling by Vande Bharat, it's a matter of pride. You're not being looked down upon. The fact that you're getting the best of the services at the best of the costs it again boils down to the parity that we are witnessing slowly and gradually as things begin to change and our national standards of living come to an all-time high.
Well, Megha, in 2014, when this government came to power, there was a lot of talk of how the bleed in the Indian railways was now chronic. It was losing money hand over fist, and it was to see its end unless something was done about it. Now, from there till now, 8 years plus, 8 years odd, a tremendous amount of work has been done. More tracks have been laid into greenfield areas like the Northeast. The tracks, I was watching the pictures of this Vande Bharat, all the sleepers are changed as much as they can be. These are now concrete sleepers, which means that there's greater stability. We're not looking at the old wooden sleepers. They've been changing gradually. Most of the network has been electrified. Where there are diesel engines being used, these are huge ones, have been developed in country. Sometimes two of them, depending on the gradients they have to negotiate. The insides of the trains have been done. This is what you're seeing. Vande Bharat is trying to make more out of existing infrastructure. When the bullet trains come, these are on raised pylons. They go at 350 kilometers an hour. We are going to see something very similar to the TGV in Europe. I was reading just yesterday that the revenues of the railways have increased 38% in the last year. So from a nearly dead duck to now It is then you've got the freight corridors. Now talk of double-decker container units in the freight corridors, manufacture of containers in India rather than importing them from China. It is a comprehensive attack on what was decrepit and
Incumbents,
finished
yes.
and going into something which is modern and competitive. Mr. Goenka just mentioned the coaches that we have put together in Chennai. We don't make every component yet, but we are working on it, even the wheels.
Okay.
Megha,
All right.
it's quite excitingly transformational.
Yeah, excitingly transformational, and the country, the citizens feel proud that when we get the metros, the monorails, the railway stations get refurbished with crores and crores of rupees by putting in escalators, lifts, LED lightings. That all showcases how India is growing to be a progressive country, a country that is aspirational and already reaching new heights. I'm going to get in Sandeep Agarwal. He's the railway sector expert from the PhD CCI. It's good to have you on the telecast, sir. In terms of the difference that has been brought forth in the past 30 decades, the railway system was languishing. Now it started off with the British Raj, and we have continued to give importance and credit to the British for having laid down the railway lines. We have the 4th largest track network across the globe. But now if you compare and sit in a TGV in France or any of these European countries versus the Vande Bharat Express, there is no difference whatsoever.
So true, so true. The point here is that the government is investing what it is earning. We are so glad we saw today that we have reached about 1.5 lakh crores on tax collection on GST. Now, a good government is one which collects those taxes and is able to utilize it profitably for the country. And that's what the current government is doing. We are seeing, just yesterday I was watching a blog, Pakistani TV blogger, talking to Pakistanis about Indian railway stations. And the Bangalore railway station was being shown, and they were being asked, "Ye kahan ka hai?" And people were telling, "Ye Germany ka hai, ye Europe ka hai, ek ne kaha Indonesia ka ho sakta hai." And then when they were told India, so then they started believing, no, India ka to kuch bhi ho sakta hai. India is growing like. So that is the main point. India, we are investing the kind of money which has gone into the metro system. And as Vinitji was also discussing about the people, now we are seeing that air-conditioned trains, good quality transportation at low cost is being provided. And with this Vande Bharat, it is going out of the metro areas to the rural areas, to the hinterland, to the northeast, to the J&K. That is what to every single corner of the country. And with these 250 odd Vande Bharat trains which are being proposed, I believe that it is going to be a huge opportunity for the country, to the people, to travel further for their business, to take India to a $40 trillion economy. As a chamber, we are always looking at the numbers, that where the numbers are going to come from. But if we do not have these speeds, and if we do not have this quality of trains, we would not be able to have the turnover, and with the eastern and the western corridors, we are exporters to Europe and to US. We saw a few years back, it used to take 60 days for us to reach a container from India to US. The reasons were bad ports and bad infrastructure on the railways. Today, even though the eastern and the western corridors are improving, we are able to reach the US customer within 45 days. And with better ports, which we are hoping now, and with the western corridor in place, we can do it in 35 days or maybe 33 days.
That saves so much time, that also allows for our economy to multiply in several ways.
Exactly, no, because China is able to deliver in 30 days. That is why America is not able to buy from India because of the lag in time. But now with this 35 days deliveries, India will be equivalent to China. That is going to change. The exports of cars, manufactured goods out of India, anything which we can think of can go. Similar to Europe. So we can always say that today the Indian infrastructure, especially in the railway sector, is going to be a game changer for the economy. And this
It surely is. It surely is. And I'm also going to talk about in just a short while and show you that case study where there is this not just underground, underwater tunnels that are being built for these semi-bullet trains. Rishabh, you want to make a point?
I'll just make a small interjection because yes, obviously there's an economic angle to it, and the bulk of rail has to be freight. The future is freight. It's not it's not going to be passenger. But that's for a conversation, certainly for another time. What are we doing here? This is the human facing, the citizen facing. Citizens facing is what? Now I want you to think about a railway station when we grew up as children, and all I remember of the railway station is a troubling, disgusting, overcrowded, messy exercise. When you land up at the platform to hear some announcement that goes ding dong, your train is 6 hours late, asubidha ke liye khede. This is my memory of railway stations as a kid, and then the only place you could sit was on the floor of the station itself, where somebody had urinated on the pillar and 3 people were spitting pan onto the tracks and 4 other people were jumping across the tracks. These are unhappy memories. Okay. Now a child, 3, 4, 5-year-old child who's traveling from Howrah, traveling from Chandigarh, Delhi, there are 6 of these trains operating now. They'll come to the station, automated door inside, automated door outside, clean seat to sit on, good food to eat, good service, and you make it in a couple of hours. And roughly running on time. This I can't explain to you that the psyche changes. What you take as the new normal completely changes. So the trains have ironically been the easier things to do. The railway station reconstruction. To why shouldn't they look like airports? Why shouldn't they? I mean, I've traveled all over Europe. The stations look like airports. You come in and they are air conditioned. It's only when you step out onto the train that you have to come into the open air. So why shouldn't they? So now the New Delhi railway station is being developed. Chhatrapati Shivaji is being developed. The one that I think one of the reports, I don't know if you've got the report, which was supposed to come in from Bhopal.
That's from Madhya Pradesh.
Yeah, the Bhopal report, which has already been inaugurated. This is what the future railway station should look like. It's a far more complicated exercise, far more expensive to upgrade one train, one line of track versus the entire railway station, which has so many junctions, so much technology in it. But my focus in this telecast has been to just touch upon the citizen-centric thing. This is what I want to highlight, Megha.
Absolutely. Citizen-centric things. And Sumit, in a span of the last 30 years, and within my lifetime, I've seen this transformation take place. And Rishabh was giving the example. We as children used to travel in railways, in trains, and we used to go to railway stations. Not a very nice experience. And then we graduated after flights became more common. And now I'm saying people wanting to go back to trains because the ease of traveling is much higher than it is at the airports, because there's check-in time for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours sometimes, with the kind of massive congestion that we are witnessing, not just in India, across the globe. So this is a boon, and this is also going to help reduce the traffic in other modes of commute in our country.
Well, Megha ji, thanks for having me on your show. You are absolutely right. There are some things I want to talk about the railways. Railways was always a potential, it was a powerhouse, but misutilized, underutilized. Highest employer in the world consumes 2% of the power, and incidentally, we have one of the biggest railway networks in the whole world. Now, railway is the largest, richest company with the maximum land banks, which a lot of people don't know and ignore. They think India Railways is poor. But it has a lot of money, but it was still running under losses because we used to make it a thing which was designed like that. We wanted to live with railways like that. It's only after the Prime Minister Modi came in. Now look at some numbers. We've got $25 billion have FDI coming in, $12 billion came from Alstom only. Now today we are exporting there was a time there were around 8 companies in Europe which were making diesel engines only for India. They had no other market. Now we are exporting 367 locomotive engines to Africa. Our metro coaches are being exported to Australia and Canada.
Correct.
We have a very big bandwagon order from Bangladesh, huge order, which will take years to complete. Not only that, this Vande Bharat by next year will be an export train of India. 475 of them proposed. Now let me come to another thing. We will be the first ones to design a hydrogen-based train which will be run on the hydrogen technology and would be on the Vande Bharat platform. That will be a game changer in the whole world, and by 2023, and we might have even some kind of a prototype ready. This is the information which is in public domain, what I'm talking about. Now, gone are those days, where India didn't have this railways. Now we are setting the global benchmarks. When we're discussing a day before the ease of living, this is where the ease of living comes. Revolutionizing the concept.
Yeah.
PPP model has done wonders. We can do the wonders. Railway can be one of the biggest revenue earners for the whole country. Forget being profitable. It can be one of the biggest, FDI getters for the whole country, because this is an asset which we have. Under Prime Minister Modi, this whatever was termed as junk has been turned into a shining star.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you, there are thousands of leaps and bounds which we can go. This hydrogen train will be the flagship of India, and one of your colleagues was rightly calling it the semi-bullet train, because at that speed it's a semi-bullet train. And having traveled in Europe also, in some aspects Vande Bharat is better than the Euro rail. That Euro rail is an outdated concept. Now Vande Bharat is new. It has under 50 years of development, and Euro rail has reached the speed. There's not a lot of development you can do in Euro rail now, except Europe is beautiful. I give it to them. But the trains, we are better and safer trains as compared to Europe. And if you look at the coverage which you have developed, the signaling system, which is rated today best in the world, the best flawless signaling system. And with Sagarmala and Gati Shakti coming in, the things have more to revolutionize. And this is a benchmark which we are setting. Forget the ease of traveling and forget the comfort.
Absolutely.
You are
Global benchmark. We also see green hydrogen plants being set up in India. So why not have trains to run on green hydrogen and export that technology to the rest of the world? You're absolutely right, and you have given us some insightful input into all these statistics with regards to the Indian economy when it comes to railways and the export avenues and potentials over here that we are at this time learning to tap into. I'm also going to now highlight on the other aspects. You've taken a look at Vande Bharat Express, how fancy and convenient it is, but now is the step that we are taking next, which is revolutionary. We take a look at the underground tunnel trains, we take a look at the underwater tunnel trains that are being envisaged in Kolkata, in Howrah. We also have these really fancy transformational railway stations, whether it is in Bhopal, whether it is in Chennai. Let's have a look at this report.
From aiming at 575 Vande Bharats crisscrossing the nation to high-speed bullet trains, the Modi government has put a special focus on rail infrastructure in the country. We travelled across the country to assess the situation on ground. Our first stop, the Mumbai monorail.
I'm standing at Mono Railways Wadala stand. You can see this is the colorful mono. Mumbai has 2-3 colors mono, that is the red color, green color and blue color mono. Which just has passed is of green color. So as compared to the typical local trains of Mumbai, which is so crowded all the time, whenever you try to step inside the train, you will find that Mumbai's crowd, like it's completely overcrowded trains. To beat that crowd, to beat the timing, Mumbai, the government has introduced mono and metro. We are currently at the mono rails depot, and you can see that's how it is, helping people of Mumbai to commute from one place to another. We have a Mumbaiker with us. We'll ask him. क्या लगता है ये मोनो और मेट्रो रेल आने से थोड़ा सा लाइफ सुधर गई है, ऐसा लगता है आपको, इजी हो गई है?
बहुत सुधर गई है, और मेट्रो से अच्छा तो मोनो रेल है अपने लिए। तो मेट्रो से अच्छा मोनो रेल है, क्योंकि हम लोग के लिए भी बहुत इजी हो गया है। अभी हम लोग के पास में ही है।
राइट। because the mono stations, if you see, they are very close from the residential area. So for commuters, it's quite easy to come down. We'll ask few Mumbaikars, do you feel that because of mono rail and metro rail, the life of Mumbaikar has become easy?
Much easy. Yeah.
To commute from one place to another,
Yes.
the price is also low.
Price is also low, but it's only that from here to our house it's little bit difficult. Otherwise everything is good.
Do you feel that as compared to the local train, you can see this is a blue color, the colorful, another colorful mono we have. Acha, so just tell me, as compared to the local train, do you feel that mono is a has a more space to sit? You can travel.
Not much space, but it's fine. I mean, for the distance, especially where the locals cannot work, this is better. I mean, it's quite reachable.
Do you feel that it is helping us to develop the country?
I think so. It is.
India is changing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So we have heard Mumbaikars were saying that the connectivity of Mumbai's metro and mono rail is really good, and this is helping India to grow.
From underground tunnels to the Kolkata Metro Marvel, all the projects in West Bengal have Prime Minister Narendra Modi's stamp marked on them.
अभी हम मौजूद हैं देश के सबसे पहली सुरंग जो नदी के अंदर से गुजर रही है, और ये सुरंग कोलकाता मेट्रो रूट पे है। ईस्ट वेस्ट कॉरिडोर जो मेट्रो बनने जा रहा है उस पे है, और हम आपको दिखाते हैं ये एक मॉडल है और जिसके लिए पूरी तैयारी की जा चुकी है, सुरंग भी बन चुका है। लेकिन इस सुरंग का क्या स्वरूप है, किस तरह से खास है, इस बारे में हमारे साथ बातचीत करने के लिए शैलेश कुमार जो ईस्ट कोस्ट मेट्रो कॉरिडोर के सिविल जीएम हैं, इनसे हम बात करेंगे। शैलेश जी, इंडिया न्यूज़ में आपका स्वागत है।
जी धन्यवाद।
शैलेश जी, आप बताएं कि हम देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर रविंद्रम सेतु, हावड़ा ब्रिज है, हुगली रिवर है, इस साइड कोलकाता जो हावड़ा स्टेशन है जो सबसे डीपेस्ट रेलवे स्टेशन माना जाता है, ब्रिटिश ज़माने का है, और उस साइड कोलकाता है। जिस हम बात कर रहे हैं इस सुरंग की, ये सुरंग अपने मायने में क्यों खास है?
एक तो पहला इंजीनियरिंग मार्वल है, दूसरी ये फर्स्ट टाइम इंडिया में बनाई गई है जिसका कि काम लगभग पूरा हो चुका है, और इसमें जो भी मेंबर्स जो भी ऑफिशियल एसोसिएट हुए हैं उनके लिए बहुत बड़ी एक्सपीरियंस था।
जिस एक्सपीरियंस की हम बात कर रहे हैं वो हम अपने कैमरा पर्सन अविनाश को कहेंगे कि वो दिखाएं। ये देखिए, ये वही टनल है जो नदी के अंदर, हुगली नदी के अंदर से क्रॉस कर रही है, तैयार हो चुकी है। बताएंगे इसकी लेंथ क्या है, और ये जो हम ग्राउंड लेवल की बात करते हैं या रिवर बेड की बात करते हैं उससे कितनी गहराई पे?
ये रिवर हुगली के नीचे ट्विन टनल है, ये ग्राउंड लेवल से करीब 33 मीटर बिलो है और रिवर बेड से 16 मीटर बिलो है।
इसमें सेफ्टी का क्या ख्याल रखा गया है?
इसमें सेफ्टी का NFPA गाइडलाइंस का ख्याल रखा गया है, जिसमें फायर प्रोटेक्शन के लिए फिर इमरजेंसी वॉकवे है, फिर टनल वेंटिलेशन सिस्टम है, फिर कोचेज़ वगैरह में भी काफ़ी सेफ्टी के आइटम्स हैं, प्लस हैंडीकैप के लिए काफ़ी फैसिलिटीज़ कोचेज़ में दी गई हैं ताकि वो अगर ड्यूरिंग इमरजेंसी में वो वॉकवे पे आ सकें। और टनल के बीच में क्रॉस पैसेज बनाई गई हैं फॉर सेफ्टी पर्पसेस के लिए कि अगर कोई इंसिडेंट टनल में कुछ घटना हो जाती है तो उस थ्रू टनल वेंटिलेशन के थ्रू स्मोक को डाइवर्ट किया जाता है और पैसेंजर्स जो कि उसमें फंसे हुए हैं वो क्रॉस पैसेज थ्रू दूसरे टनल में आ जाते हैं।
Our next stop, the Chennai Egmore railway station. Take a look at this special report.
Well, we are at one of the iconic railway stations in the country, which is known as Chennai Egmore railway station. So this Egmore has a very big history because it was built 100 years ago, and around 1908 this whole complete railway station was built by the British people. So now you can see the clear pictures of the whole railway station, where I'll be showing out that the building structures have been very old now. So now we have been seeing out that 2022 is also been an iconic year for several schemes and projects, because we have been seeing out that under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the central government has announced several new schemes for the country and many redevelopment plans for the country. And this is also one of the main projects which has been under the redevelopment, because in the upcoming 3 years we can expect that a new railway station will be built in this Egmore railway station. So now what are the expectations of the people is that now you can see the clear pictures that Egmore railway station also plays a vital role to the people of the country, because it's very easy to travel from one place to another from this particular station. And this railway station has around 11 platforms by which more than 100 plus numbers of trains have been coming on daily basis, and more than 10,000 passengers travel on daily basis. So now the upcoming plan for the next 3 years is that to build a new railway station in the Egmore, which will also compare to the world class facility railway station, because many steps have been taken by the central government to ensure that the hassle-free railway station has been built for the Egmore railway station, and the people can commute easily. Now you can see in the clear path that the people who wanted to travel by a car to come to railway station have been facing difficulty, because there's a very small lane at this particular area. And in fact, you can see that the railway station has been very big, and there's heavy traffic congestion also taking place during the peak times and season times. So now the plan is clear for 3 years, is that after 3 years there will be a facelift where new complete world-class railway station will be built in Egmore. And we can also expect that more than 800 crores have been allocated for this particular project. And this is also one of the main projects which has been given out by central government in the year 2022. So now on around 2025 to 26 we can expect that a grand big railway station will be built in Egmore. And this is also one of the second busiest railway station in the Chennai, and because more than 1,000 people travel on daily basis. And we have been seeing out that a high level parking will also be built in the outside area, that people when they want to travel they can park their cars easily and in a safe manner, because now there's a lot of facilities for the people to park their cars, and there's also traffic congestion also in this particular area. So now the central government has cleverly and actually planned a very big project for the Chennai Egmore, because we have been seeing out that a very big project has been announced in which 800 plus crores have also been allocated for this particular project. And we have been seeing out that a clear picture that in the upcoming days there will be a big railway station built in the Chennai Egmore. So now getting you this exclusive report on NewsX.
From Chennai to Bhopal, a marked difference was seen in rails and infra around it.
बीते साल प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने मध्य प्रदेश को 2 बड़ी सौगात दी हैं। एक, उन्होंने श्योपुर का जो कूनो नेशनल पार्क है उसमें चीते छोड़े, और दूसरा मध्य प्रदेश की राजधानी भोपाल में वर्ल्ड क्लास रेलवे स्टेशन कमलापति का निर्माण। 100 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से भोपाल के पुराने हबीबगंज रेलवे स्टेशन को वर्ल्ड क्लास रेलवे स्टेशन के तौर पे बदला गया। इस पूरे काम में लगभग 1.5 साल लगा, और उसका नाम बदलकर रानी कमलापति, जो भोपाल की रानी थी, उनके नाम पर उनका नाम जो है रेलवे स्टेशन का वो किया गया। 100 करोड़ की लागत से यहाँ वर्ल्ड क्लास सुविधाएं दी गई हैं। अगर आप यहाँ अंदर जाएंगे तो रेलवे स्टेशन नहीं, ये पूरा का पूरा एयरपोर्ट जैसा लगेगा। लिफ्ट से लेकर एस्केलेटर और तमाम सुविधाएं जो हैं वो इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर रेलवे स्टेशन पर दी गई हैं। अगर हम यात्रियों की बात करें तो यात्री खासतौर से नए शहर जो विकसित होता हुआ पुराना भोपाल के अलावा नए भोपाल है, नए भोपाल के हज़ारों लोगों को इसका बड़ी सौगात और सुविधा मिली है। यहाँ से हज़ारों यात्री रोज़ाना ट्रैवल करते हैं, सफ़र करते हैं, और जो ट्रेनें हैं वो भी लगभग सभी ट्रेनों को स्टॉपेज यहाँ दिया गया है। कुल मिलाकर अब 1 साल बाद 2022 के बाद जो 23 लगा है, 2022 की बात करें तो भोपाल को सबसे बड़ी सौगात के तौर पर ये रेलवे स्टेशन मिला।
New trains, new metros, refurbished stations. A new era has truly been ushered in India's rail infra story under the Prime Minister. Bureau Report, NewsX.
All right, so there you go. The state-of-the-art facilities, whether they are the railway stations or our trains themselves. Major General Sudhakar ji, quite the transformation. This is a harbinger to the things to come when it comes to New India, Shining India, and particularly the biggest marvel that the Indian Railways has seen in the last 30 years or more.
Yeah, Megha, good evening. Thank you for inviting me to your channel. I thought we had come to the end of the discussion in today's program, but thanks for having remembered that I am in the panel. All I would say is that India has come a long way. Unless the flip side of all these glorious stories and milestones are also looked into, maybe it will appear to be a very one-sided painting of the picture. Looking at the entire progress, I am also an Indian, being a military man. Let me try and be objective and give you a very comprehensive overview as to, I have just come back from the East Coast. I am presently speaking from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I had been to East Coast from Bhubaneswar to my hometown, Balasore and back. There is no denying the fact that there is a facelift, there is a sprucing up as if the nation is going to host some major event. Contrary to what I had seen 10, 15 years back, there is a definite progress or sense of way of life has undergone change. There is a high degree of cleanliness. There is a high degree of response metrics of the people who are serving inside the train. Trains are running on time. However, when I went from Jaipur to Jodhpur, again the same story, same narrative, things are all hunky-dory. I just happened to share a message that NewsX has invited me to share my views today in the evening. The old retired naval captain, he's a diver, deep sea diver. He was traveling from Jaipur to Udaipur, Mount Abu, I suppose. I said, do you have any feedback? So what I'm coming to is, in military, we are taught about the OODA loop. Unless a correct feedback comes into the system in an inbuilt intrinsic manner, the corrective measures cannot be taken. We would be basking in glory without actually addressing or redressing the grievances of the people on ground.
Yes.
He has given, if you allow me, he has given some feedback. He was traveling in a train. The train reached 8 hours late. He has to rebook his accommodation in a hotel. One. Secondly, being old people, they couldn't lift the luggage, the lifts which have come up in the station, because we need to be very holistic and comprehensive. Yes, things are happening. Given the fact that India is looking at 2047, by 2047, we expect our nation to reach a milestone of an advanced country. So let's try and find out which are the pitfalls. So that is one part of the story. The other part which I would like to share in this channel is that, being a military man, we need to look at the whole perspective from the national security perspective or paradigm. When I say national security, the crying need of the hour today is the last mile connectivity, be it by road or railways. I am not drawing any parallel, nor am I making any comparison with China. If we compare with China between 1991 and 2022, well, they would have touched a figure of 150,000 kilometers of having laid the railway line, and we have reached a figure of 68,000 like Mr. Vinith has brought out. I am not drawing any parallel. All I am saying is the need of the hour is, like the way the national highways are being developed close to the borders of line of actual control and line of control, we also need to keep this as one of the objectives. When I was going through the document IR 2030, I didn't find any mention about the last mile connectivity of the remotest village, remotest area. One. Number two, it's very heartening to see that the green initiatives have been taken by the Indian Railways. We are talking in terms of objective form. By 2030, we are going to be net zero carbon emission agency as far as the Indian Railways is concerned. That's a very heartening thing. The LED bulbs have been put, and also there is a biodegradable toilets inside the train. This is very, very heartening, very, very encouraging. And there is the disposal, the human excreta is not there in the railway line. It's neat and clean all over. That is what I must compliment. The last,
all right. You made your points. I'm going to reach out to Vinith Goenka. Vinith Goenka, obviously there are trials and tribulations. Like I said, me being a child, it was a bad experience coming to the railway station, then boarding the train, stinky toilets. We would rather not go to the toilets and wait for the next stop and then get into the next railway station. But that was also a difficult task, because the toilets would not be of the pristine, clean quality. But the transformation is being seen. This is in the metros. It is connecting the cosmopolitan cities. But the last mile connectivity, as Major Sudhakarji says, is equally important.
Yeah, so Megha, as Major General Sudhakarji said, I'll answer him particular part, but before that I'll make 3 points which I've been waiting. One Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which we had taken up in 2014. One transformation which we did was 1100 trains were identified for on-board housekeeping services, where mechanized housekeeping is being done. There are automatic, vending machines which do the cleaning. Currently, there are 23 machines which have been installed at 23 locations, but 125 will come up immediately. We would appreciate that funds are limited. There is a third-party audit being introduced in railways first in the last 4 years, where a third party comes and tells us what is the condition of the coach inside, the cleaning of the coach. Bio toilets have already been mentioned. I would like to put one particular focus on one particular part which I come from, that the CRIS comes from, is the next generation e-ticketing. Earlier, railways used to only book 2,000 tickets per minute. 2,000 tickets, and whereas we used to take 800 plus crore people, passengers, now we book more than 25,000 tickets per minute. And mind it, not a single case of neighbors booking our ticket. Major General Sudhakar ji, thank you for giving us the feedback. I am on the governing council of SCRIS, and I have along with me Major General Lamba, who keeps in the perspective of the defense forces. Man and the machines travel crisscross on the railway tracks, and we know that the manifest should not go out. Sir, you have seen in the last 8 years, not a single case of leakage of manifest of logistic been given to anybody. That was the reason we didn't allow international or the multinationals to come up and to give you the online travel ticket, travel train positioning. And we have used Gagan, which is an indigenous ISRO built system where you can identify where the train is currently right now. Sir, I would also like to tell you that now the heights of the platforms is almost around 840 millimeter, which helps to reduce the number of accidents of passengers going inside the track while alighting, waiting from the train. Yeah, so that has been done. Sir, one point, Meghaji, which I'd like to tell your audience and everybody here is transparency when you have this kind of big organization. When you have this kind of organization which are century old, multi-decade, more than 1 million employees been involved, the issue is always transparency. And I'm particularly proud that the e-procurement which has been done by Railway, where everything which has been procured by Railway, and Railway of India procures pin to plane, everything. We are the largest procurement we do of paints, we do of pencils, because the number of pencils been purchased for our employees, the paint which has been there on the platform or the trains, everything. So you name the
runs up to billions and billions. Yes.
Yeah. So the transparency which has been put in, which is in, and I don't want to shy out from saying that we have put in nexus. So earlier we used to hear that when you try to book a railway ticket, you were finding it difficult, and some thoughts or some agents would be able to do it very fast. In the last 5 years, only we know that how many people have been taxed for this. There have been inquiries been done. There are people who have been suspended. There have been people been even arrested when doing this. So the commitment of the railway board, commitment of the railway minister, commitment of the prime minister has been transparent, speed, cleaner, comfortable, and a friendly, business-friendly railway.
Absolutely.
And,
okay.
Feedback of Major General will be taken in a positive sense, and make sure that it travels to the right person who can take decisions. We can do corrective. Major General, you will please appreciate that when you run 13,169 passenger trains with limited resources, these challenges will have to be faced.
Absolutely. Challenges have to be faced head on. I congratulate the Indian Railways and the Railway Minister for having taken on this mammoth task. It's just the beginning. It is going to take, like I said, if we can wait up until the next 25 years, and those are going to be the glorious 2045, by which India becoming an advanced nation, and railways will have to play a massive part in then showing the world what we are capable of. Sandeep Agarwal, I'm going to particularly mention about this technological marvel that for the first time is going to come to India by way of the underwater metro tunnel that is being built in Kolkata right now. Now, the tremendous technology, the technical know-how, the way it is being done for the first time around, so there are going to be certain challenges that will also have to be faced. It's a mammoth task, and I, for one matter, am definitely looking forward to traveling to Kolkata just to travel on that underwater train.
No, so true. It is a technological marvel because it is soft soil. It is not. Sometimes the rock is also a technological issue, but when you are dealing with soft soil and which is full of water, then putting a underground tunnel below it is extremely risky. So therefore, it is very important that the correct technologies are used, and I'm pretty sure the Indian Railways has the best of the technologies. And the best thing is that we are able to do it much cheaper than any other country in the world. So that is the one thing which I would say. Sudhakar ji needs to say something. So I would only say that the technology which we are taking today, we have the advantage that we are taking when it is already available, and we are able to use it correctly and cheaply. And we are the point here is that these more underground crossings in Delhi, in other areas, even in Bombay, because it's all zero from the sea level. So there will be so many underground railways which will be required, metros will be required.
Yeah, and which will cut down on the travel time significantly, and that's
Exactly.
what that's the most important aspect of these metros, of these semi-bullet trains. Yes.
So what is important is that India is going to invest $50 billion, 50 lakh crores.
Yeah.
$715 billion in the next 25 years. So I believe that Indian Railways, Vinay ji is saying we are short of funds. Vinay ji is not saying it correctly, because you have the funds. The government is committing the funds on the infrastructure investment in railways, and we believe that funds will never be a shortage. Indian Railways is able to gather funds like the Indian road sector wherever it is needed.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Allow me, Megha, I just have one point. Quick point, please.
Quickly, and 30 seconds, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, compliments to you and the co-panelists. But one, you see, India is not what it was in 1947. It's gained a lot of global stature. We are the most credible and reliable nation in the eyes of the world today, and we are there in a very high platform. So having given this little preamble, I would say much more than what is required inside the country. I think the time has come. We need to look outside our immediate neighborhood. If we do not extend our railway network capability and extend towards, let's say, Nepal, soon you will be finding that China is already building railway network into Nepal. Similarly, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So likewise, we need to actually look outwards.
Point made. Let Sumit respond to this. Of course, we have to expand our horizons, and that is particularly first going to happen in the subcontinent, and then ASEAN, and then the rest of the world. Yes, Sumit.
First point here is we have already 4 out of India train stations are operational. We don't have to build. Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bangladesh and Bhutan are covered, ma'am, as we talk.
Yeah.
And proudly so. So it's not nothing we are doing. And we are expanding our railways to the much more frontiers. We are changing the force of the railway from, the one thing I want to reiterate once again. The amount of land banks which railway has makes it the richest asset company in the whole India. I don't know where it stands in the world, but in the whole of India, there's nobody richer than Indian Railways. And PPP model, which under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi has been possible and starts bearing the fruits, and with the FDI coming in, will not only revamp the Indian Railways, will not revamp the infrastructure around it, will not only build the economies around it, will not only build the corporates and the towers around it, but will be soon setting the standards of the export to the whole world. Today, see how many people are approaching us for our trains and coaches. Australia and Canada are exporting our stuff, our made in India stuff. Our locomotives are going to the whole of Africa. Whole of Africa is buying trains from us. Bangladesh orders are coming. Orders are coming from everywhere. In fact, we have more orders than we can supply today. That is how railways has changed. This is the change in phase.
Okay, all right. That's the change in phase, and internationally, India getting that acclamation that it had for long been seeking. And quickly, Gautam Mukherjee, like we were looking outwards, but it's also equally important to look inwards, and particularly for that last mile connectivity. The last mile connectivity, and it has to be as state of the art as it is between the metros.
Megha, it's interesting that we are talking of these, if you like, superstructure issues. I remember just 25 years ago, the cost of Indian Airlines, which was the only flight available, was so high that everybody had to use the trains and had to use whatever quality was on offer. And this went on until all these multiple airlines came. Now most of the middle class uses airlines, and very few people still go on trains unless they're going short distances. We've come a long way. Now, from here onwards, given the momentum that has been achieved from a organization that was moribund, socialist, unable to figure out a way to come out of its, completely useless finances, because you couldn't raise passenger prices, freight nobody wanted. In fact, the entire trucking industry came up in a big way once the roads were bettered by Atal Bihari Vajpayee and thereafter. And just because you couldn't get a booking, you couldn't get a bogie, it was horrible. Now, from there, we are coming into a new era that is unrecognizable. It has no connection with at least our past, which was Kipling-esque. It might as well have been something in the 19th century.
Yeah.
Now, to speak of so many other things that have to be done, yes, I completely accept there are many things that have to be improved, but I don't have any lack of confidence that they will be done.
You're absolutely right. And on that note, I thank you all for joining me on the telecast. This is definitely the rail revolution the country is witnessing. And before I take a quick short break, on the next episode, on the NewsX Vikas report, we bring you the Prime Minister Anna Yojana and the ground reports to give you the reality of whether the Anna Yojana has reached the least common denominator in our country. Take a short break.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.